and the time has gone just past 10 o'clock. Welcome to Mother's Planet, a show where there is always something to talk about in a productive and beneficial way. I am your host, Neelam, and wow, listeners, it's been a really long time. Well, it's felt like a very long time since I've been on air and had a live show with you all this morning. So it's great to be back. And what a week. I think everyone has had a bit of a shock, even though we tried to prepare ourselves for being back at school. It always comes as a shock, the routine. But I need to mention this. It was my birthday. I had my birthday at the beginning of this week. And so all birthday messages are greatly appreciated. I had a lovely day, naturally spoilt by the kids. It doesn't become about us anymore, birthdays. And, after a certain age, we stop counting. We don't need to count because, I'm not getting older, I'm getting wiser, I like to think. But, part of getting wiser is you learn a bit more about your body and how much you can and can't cope with. And I think I seem to forget that over the summer holidays where I ate like my teens and now I'm suffering the consequences for it. So I'm sure I'm not alone. I'm sure we all just had fun and overindulged a little bit or forgot what our own metabolism's like compared to our teens. So yeah, I went into a bit of a food fest with them over the summer, and so now I need to rejig my body clock back to eating the way I should be eating. So I'm sure I'm not alone there. But that aside, kids are all back at school, and the new academic year has started, and it started with the all testing rain. What a way to come back to school, with the weather being a bit of a hit and miss over the summer break. I think we had maybe a couple of weeks where we had very nice, weather, and we had that mini heat wave, and we were all cursing the heat. And then we get the rain, and we're all wishing the sun back. So, yeah, never satisfied. Typical British weather and British attitude towards it as well. But yes, it was not just about getting the uniforms ready and getting the kids kitted out, but it was also about digging up those umbrellas and making sure we had an brolly or rain jackets on, which was a bit of a challenge for me because I was convinced I had many brollies and I could only find a couple. So, yep, naturally going out and buying that, which probably won't be needed now because the sun is out this morning and it feels like summer again. It's lovely. It's really nice and crisp outside this morning. In fact, when I was driving up, I had to open my window because I actually felt a bit warm. So I thought, wow, the weather has really taken a turn. So, listeners, I know, there's lots of havoc going on with organising the mornings and, getting the children ready. So don't worry because this morning, being back at school is not just about sharpening pencils and new backpacks. It also means juggling all the schedules, the early morning routines, homework after school, the after school clubs, the dreaded extracurriculars that you forgot that you signed your child up to. So today I'll be sharing some simple and doable ways that we can hopefully bring some ease to our routine of being back at school. If you do have any, I would love to hear from you this morning. If you have any that you'd like to share with me this morning. Just to note, listeners, we are live on air, reaching out to all our listeners in Luton and surrounding areas through the airwaves at Inspire FM 105.1 FM. The show is also streaming live on Facebook, where you must give the show a thumbs up. And also you can comment on today's topic and share any of your top tips of what you do to keep the day easy for you and getting through the madness or the havoc of the day. I am also taking in WhatsApp and text messages on the studio number 07779 481 822. And again, listeners, I am also welcoming birthday messages on that number. So that's 07779 481 822. Now, in today's show, I wanted to reassure all us parents that you're not alone. First and foremost, you are not alone in the madness. We are all in the same boat. We are all going through the craziness of getting up and even trying to go to sleep, and breaking those bad habits that the summer holidays brought. We were going to bed at silly o'clock, and waking up, when we felt was right. And now we have to force our bodies to go back into the routine of going to bed early so that we get enough hours sleep, and then forcing ourselves up against our will most of the time, and getting ready for the day. So you are not alone. There are many, many people out there that are feeling the same pain and are going through the same craziness of the morning. Now, alhamdulillah, mashallah, I have a quite spread out educational platforms for my children, where some are at primary school, some are starting high school and still at high school, going on to the next year. Some are starting college, sixth forms, and one's off to university. So it's madness in our home as well, and it's trying to juggle all of that. And I've been trying to plan this week how I can try and organize myself. I mean, first and foremost, parents, I want to say, as much as it is important to nurture our children's well-being, sleep routine, and their health, it's paramount that you take care of your own. Parents, carers, whoever's out there listening in this morning, you have to put yourself as priority as well. I became a bit of a joke in my home because day 3 of the school runs, and I had a breakdown. I just was so exhausted. So my lovely husband did the school runs yesterday so that I could rest, because I had a horrible headache and I just felt so unwell. And I realized that actually, in the madness of getting up and organizing the children and making sure they've had breakfast and they're well equipped for the day, I didn't equip myself, and I didn't put myself in that equation as well. And I've taken a step back now, and I'm getting the children more involved in trying to organize themselves. But I'm also trying to remember myself now, and making sure that I've also equipped myself for the day as well, because it is crazy. Even when they're at school, there is 101 things to do, and there's only so much you can manage in that window that they're not at home. So please do remember yourself and put yourself in the equation as well, as I learnt the hard way. Now, to make things simple, I wanted to break down my tips into simple categories, and discuss them in each category. Again, listeners, if you have any that you'd like to share, I am taking WhatsApp or text messages on the studio number 07779 481 822. Now, the first one I wanted to start with is the easing morning routines. Now, obviously, it's getting the children up. There's 101 things to do in the morning. So the first thing that I want to say for this category is prep the night before. Try and do as much as you can the night before and get the kids involved. And, this could be things like getting their uniforms ready, knowing what they're going to be wearing. The primary school that my children attend have PE days and uniform days. And so the day they have PE, they come to school in their kit, wearing their PE kit. So organizing themselves, knowing that, is it a uniform day or is it a PE kit day? And the older ones as well, they have a pack that they have to make sure all their stationery are in, so that when they attend school, these packs are checked, and they're ready for each class. So just getting them to go through that, and getting the others to iron their clothes and know what they're wearing the next day, and just taking on a bit more responsibility. Lunches are always difficult, and I do find myself making lunch fresh in the morning, because my children like warm foods, and I know by the time it's lunchtime it's cold anyway. But I like to make things fresh in the morning, but prep as much as of it you can in the night before. So if you, for example, going to make them a chicken and salad wrap, maybe cut the salad up and box it, so that in the morning you've got that salad pre-cut and you're not chopping salad prepared up. If you're making burgers, have the burgers out ready, have the sauces out ready, whatever you're doing, make it easy as possible the night before. Wash out their water bottles, make sure they're ready and dry in the morning so that you can refill their bottles. Have the lunch boxes out, and maybe start filling some of it up with the non-fridge goodies, the fruits and things that don't need to be kept in the fridge and are okay to be kept out overnight. So start prepping as much as you can. I always ask my children the night before, what do they want for breakfast, so that I get up and it's not, what shall I make you? What shall I make you? And I know I'm that terrible mum that does ask my children. But today I just made a big pot of porridge, which actually they all really enjoyed and ate. So I thought, I'm going to stop asking them. I'm not running a restaurant, and it's getting a bit colder in the mornings as well. So a warm breakfast is greatly appreciated. And what better than porridge? Because it's very filling as well, so to kickstart their day. So yes, prepare as much as you can the night before. It will make the mornings a bit more smoother when you've planned and done things ahead of time. Create a synchronized wake up system. So wake up the older ones first. This seems to work better in my house when I've woken up the older ones, so they can get themselves ready and prepped, and then they can come down and help, so that you can then focus on the younger ones and get them ready, and the older ones can help wherever needed. I always find that in my house, getting the older ones up earlier is easier rather than the younger ones, because the younger ones require a bit more attention. And so I focus on the older ones that can do a bit more themselves. And if they're ready and they have a bit of time, I can then get them to help me with the younger ones. Allow a buffer system, with the waking up system here. So, I always wake them up 10 to 15 minutes when they actually really need to wake up, so that they've got that time to adjust to, okay, we need to get up, okay, we need to go to the bathroom, and it's giving them that time. It's not get up and they have to force themselves out of bed. Actually, research has shown that waking up and jumping out of bed like that, and going to the bathroom and getting yourself ready for the day, actually has a negative impact. And we should start the day off with getting up, doing a little stretch, and easing ourselves into the morning, rather than just jumping and diving right into it. So that buffer of 10 to 15 minutes waking up around that time is allowing us to make sure that we are getting up and giving ourselves that time to have that stretch, and to accept that we have to wake up. And alhamdulillah, we're actually okay at the moment, because it's still bright. So when you wake up, it's actually bright. I'm dreading the winter days when it starts getting dark, and we have longer nights. And when you wake up at 6, 7 o'clock, it's actually still quite dark outside. I'm not looking forward to those days when I think the sleep might be easy, because it'll be pitch black at 4 o'clock. So getting them into bed early will be nice, but it's the getting up early that might be quite challenging, because it'll still be dark. Have a checklist. So get the children involved in this, creating a morning checklist. Now, when my older ones were young, and I tried to implement this with the younger ones, but I used to have a checklist for them, and this works really well for the young ones, because they know what they have to do. So it's not, have you done this, have you got this? You're not having to ask the questions. Just get them to refer back to the checklist. So it's simple things that you can put. Have you made your bed? Have you brushed your teeth? Have you washed your face? Have you put your pajamas away? Have a checklist that works for you and your family, creating one that's actually specific for that child as well. In actual fact, this also works for the older ones, giving them a maturer checklist, but saying to them, have they packed their bag? Have they got the right books for the day? Have they got their laptops, whatever they need for the day, the equipment? So having a checklist for them as well, it can always work as well. It's something that you can make work for the older or younger children. But having that checklist it's one less thing for you to have to chase them about. It's one less thing for you to ask them 101 questions. So I would really highly recommend sitting each child down and saying, right, okay, these are the things that you need to do in the morning. Let's go through it together. What would you like to add to your 5 things for your checklist? And then have those 5 things and make sure that they're ticking them off. And every morning it just keeps things a bit more smoother. But it also gives them a sense of ownership and responsibility, especially with the younger ones. They get very happy when they can see that they've created this checklist and they've done something towards that, and actually ticked something off. Children, especially young children, are very visual with these things. So to have a physical tick on a checklist to say, yep, this is done, is actually quite helpful for them as well. Breakfast, I've actually noticed how breakfast gets neglected the older the children get. When they're young, they actually wake up and the first thing they want to do is eat. And when they're older, breakfast is on the back pedal. It's not even something that's on the agenda. It's about getting ready. It's about getting dressed. It's about getting the bag packed and leaving the house. Food does not even come into the equation. And they'll realize this when they get to school and they're absolutely starving. So it's really important that we focus on the older ones here with breakfast, and, get them to pay attention to their diet and their needs, because, breakfast is an important meal of the day. It's, something that's going to kickstart their day. And if they start it on an empty stomach, then they're not going to have the brain power to function during the day, or even as they're walking to school. They probably won't be very alert as they would be had they'd eaten. So it's really important that they kickstart their day with a good breakfast. And there are lots of things that can be prepared in advance, that will keep them fuller for longer. Sometimes you can prep it the night before. So things like the overnight porridge oats with chia seeds and fruits in a little jar. Pop that into the fridge, making a bit of porridge, putting some chia seeds in it, and putting some fresh fruit on it, put it in an airtight container, pop it in the fridge, and they can just grab that in the morning and have that, if they're really short on time and they just need something quick to go. And lots of foods like yogurts, especially the Greek yogurts, are high in protein. So, chopping up a bit of fresh fruit with the yogurt, and have adding a variety of nuts to that, is also, again, a quick and very nutritious breakfast for them to have, and filling them up as well. Oats, eggs, bananas, granolas, these are all things that are high in protein and have really give that really fuller breakfast. Scrambled eggs in the morning. It doesn't take long to make scrambled eggs, and you can make a big batch and then just let them take a little bit and have it with again, nuts, fruits, or on toast, in a sandwich, or in a wrap, however they fancy it in the morning. But it's really important that this meal is not neglected, because I think I'm a bit guilty of it myself. So I've started to actually eat breakfast with them in the morning so that they can see that, oh, mom's making the effort to eat. So, it's an important meal. So yes, make sure you are being a good role model there. So that's managing the morning routines, things that you can do to manage the morning routines. My favorite one in that is having that checklist, because I have felt that I've saved my voice. I'm not shouting. I'm not asking 101 questions. They have that reference in front of them. So I highly recommend that one. The second one is managing schedules. Now, this one is really tough, and I think it's hit us all this week as soon as the kids have gone back. And I don't know about you parents, but I have been getting emails galore from the schools about what's happening in the week, what's going to be happening in the upcoming weeks, events, sports activities, after school clubs. I'm getting bombarded with all of them. And so keeping up with it is quite difficult, especially when you've got children in different schools and different settings. So use a family calendar. This could be mounted on the fridge or on the wall, but it's really good to see what's happening in the week for each person. So you can buy these online quite cheap, or you can make one. Just get an A3 paper, draw out the days of the week, and then perhaps make a column for each child, so you can say what's happening for each child on each day. You can have tasks, to-do lists, things to do, things to get. You can make it very personal to your family what you want. And there are some really good ones out there online as well that you can get that already have these things, and ones that can be mounted on the fridge as well. And just put down all the important dates, the activities that's going on, especially for myself when I've got children that have specific PE days and uniform days, making sure I know which days they have the PE so that they're in their kits. And again, with the older ones, they have to take their PE kits into school for those days. So just making sure that they are aware and you are aware of when their PE days are. But it's a really good visual aid for everyone to see. So, if you have forgotten, someone else in the house will read something and remind you, Mum, we've got an upcoming event. Did you know this was happening? Did you know that was happening? So I do like my calendar on the wall where I can see what's going on for everyone in the week. And even for myself, just, appointments and schedules, things that you've put aside and said that I need to do this, I need to get that, jot it down on that. Don't let the chaos take over. Prioritize. Now, this is really key here. Not every club or activity has to happen in the first month of school. I think when we put the kids into school, we get into that auto routine of, right, need to get them into that club, need to get them into this. Go with ease the children into school, and ease yourself into the whole startup of school, the picking up, organizing, making sure that their meals after school are prepped and ready and done. And the least of your worries is to have an after school club or an extracurricular activity that they're doing that needs to be organized and prepared for. So, I think, especially this term, between September and December, I think is the most challenging term to do any after school clubs, because after October, when the nights get longer and the days get shorter, it's the last thing you want to do when they come back from school, to be out on the road in the dark, getting them from one club to another. And while it's excellent that kids are doing extracurricular outside, there is a heap of things that they can do at home, and organize themselves at home and do things that doesn't always involve them having to be driven around. So do consider that. And don't trouble yourself with getting all those clubs in during the first week, especially of school. See what activities also you can move to the weekend. It doesn't have to be, if your children love swimming, try and see if you can get a weekend slot rather than doing it a weekday after school, so that's easing the week a little bit for yourself, and then the madness can happen on the weekend. But at least it's just that club that you have to worry about. It's not school and a club. So try and see what you can move over to the weekend, and any activities that your children are doing, they can do over the weekend rather than filling up the week, because your schedule is busy as it is already. So prioritize and think about those clubs. Meal planner. Mums, dads, carers, everyone out there that's preparing those dinners, make your life easier and plan ahead. What will you be making is, a question that we all ask ourselves. And it's a headache that we don't really need to be putting on ourselves. Every day I prepare a fresh meal. I try to bulk cook, but I don't like bulk cooking. I don't like having the same food 2 days in a row. So I do make fresh meals every day. But I have a weekly planner, and if I know what I'm making, it gives me that head start. So sometimes in the day, I'll think, actually, I've got all the ingredients out ready. I'm just going to prep it all now, first thing in the morning, and get dinner done. There's some meals that you can only cook when the kids have come in, because you'll have to put it in the oven and it needs to be warm. But there's some meals that you can just do earlier in the day and just cook and have ready. And also, not only does it ease your troubles of thinking of what to make, but it makes it easy for your shopping as well. Now, listeners, we are going to go over to a short commercial break. So stay tuned for more talk on managing life with being back at school, and not just for the kiddies, but for the whole family. Now, before I head over to the break, I had a quick question that I wanted to ask you listeners. It was a question that was asked by one of my children, and it got me thinking, and I thought it'd be interesting to hear what people would do here. So, if there was something that you could stop doing and let a robot do, what would it be? So have a think about that, because it got me thinking, um, what would I give to a robot? What would I love not doing anymore? So I'd love to hear everyone's views on that. You can message in on the studio 07779 481 822. I have had some feedback on that, so I'll share that just after the break. But for now, we're off to a break. Assalamu alaikum.
This program will continue after the break. Continue listening to Inspire FM. Inspire FM.
Inspire 105.1 FM.
Hi, my name is Fatima. I'm from Project Ribcage. You can find us on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. It's all under Project Ribcage. We also have a website, projectribcage.com. Our message for today is, if not you, then who? Please listen to Inspire FM at 105.1.
Greystone Solicitors are committed to protecting your rights and fighting your corner to ensure you get the best possible results. Specialising in immigration matters, employment issues, family matters, personal injury, medical negligence, civil litigation and housing. Need help with your immigration problem? Greystone Solicitors provide free immigration drop-in clinics every Friday. Call Greystone Solicitors today on 01582 343 453 or visit us at 275 Dunstable Road, Luton, LU4 8BS, and begin your journey towards justice today. At Luton Family Hubs, we celebrate every drop of breast milk. Whether you're starting out or well into your journey, you're not alone. Our trained staff and volunteers offer support at local breastfeeding support and social groups. Join the Free to Feed campaign to help normalise breastfeeding in public. Celebrate World Breastfeeding Week and our new site launch on Wednesday 6th of August at Luton Central Library. Please visit familyhubs.luton.gov.uk for more information.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته وبسم الله. قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم طوبى لمن وجد في صحيفته استغفارا كثيرا. That glad tidings for the one who finds in his book of deeds a great amount of istighfar.
वेस्टबोर्न फार्मेसी हफ्ते के 7 दिन सुबह 9 बजे से लेकर रात 9 बजे तक खुली रहती है। हमारी सर्विसेज में शामिल हैं ट्रैवल वैक्सीनेशंस, स्टॉप स्मोकिंग, डायबिटीज चेक, बच्चों की ग़िज़ा और बहुत कुछ। लुटन और डंस्टेबल में फ्री प्रिस्क्रिप्शन, पिकअप और डिलीवरी सर्विसेज भी की जाती है। इसके अलावा आप मेडिसिन के इस्तेमाल के लिए फ्री मशवरा भी ले सकते हैं। वेस्टबोर्न फार्मेसी 198 B Dunstable Road, Luton, corner of Westbourne Road. Telephone 01582 419 432.
Are you ready to embark on a journey of purpose and impact? The East of England Ambulance Service is recruiting now. Are you seeking training and a new career or looking for a challenge in development? Start your career for life with East. Apply now for roles in frontline emergency operations, control rooms, support services and non-emergency transport. Visit www.eastamb.nhs.uk and click Join the Team. Make a real difference. Join the East of England Ambulance Service and start your career for life.
The Arise to Success show is based on a prophetic model where the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ nurtured the personalities of the Sahabas or the companions and nurtured their talents that Allah has created them with in order for them to succeed and for them to be our role models as well. Similarly, in the Arise to Success show, I aim to highlight inspiring individuals and their journeys to success to be our role models too, as well as to inspire the Muslim community.
Every Monday from 6 p.m.
From the studios of Inspire FM, the time is now 10:30.
Good morning and Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to Mother's Planet. I'm your host Neelam, and the time has now just gone 10:30. Just before the break, I asked a question. If you could stop doing one thing and let a robot do it, what would it be? I was curious to hear what listeners were thinking. And I was asked this question by my 10-year-old, and it did get me thinking because I thought, wow, I've got so many things I'd love a robot to do, but then do I really want a robot doing things? And then I actually thought, there are a few things that I would like. And it's lovely to hear because I had a few messages come through, and one of them was cleaning. I would like my cleaning to be done because cleaning with 2 kids, all I do is clean. And I thought, yes, that's interesting, actually. Cleaning, if I allowed cleaning to be done. Another one came through and said, ironing, my pet hate. I hate ironing. If I could have a robot that would do all my ironing and put away the clothes, this would save my life. But the one that I really liked, and all of them were lovely and actually relatable because I actually wanted to do all of them. A robot can do the laundry. Please tell me why I have just spent an hour ironing and sorting clothes out to only need another hour to properly put them all away and then to get another load on the wash because obviously I cannot leave it for a day. She said there's not been a single day that she's not been putting away clothes and doing the laundry or ironing. It's done on a daily basis, but she still has a mountain of clothes. That aside, and also someone to cut the onions. So yes, cut the onions for cooking, but laundry, yes, if a robot could do the laundry, and that's wash, dry, and iron, I think a lot of us would be very happy. Especially when it comes to the most challenging weathers where it's not nice enough to put weather. I like to dry my clothes outside. I very rarely use my tumble dryer, and I do like clothes that have been dried outside. And so when the weather turns and I have to use the tumble dryer, I don't like it because I find clothes that have been tumble dried need to be ironed with a lot more care. Whereas clothes that are ironed outside, you can just do a quick iron press on them and that's fine. So I don't know if I'm alone there. Let me know, listeners. Do you find that clothes that have come out the dryer need a bit more attention when it comes to ironing? And those clothes, it depends, I guess, how much you put in the dryer, or how many clothes or what type of clothes you put. But I do find that I need to really press with the iron and pay more attention when they've come out the dryer than they have when they are freshly dried from the washing line. Now, I got as far as managing schedules just before we headed over to a break. And the one that I last spoke of was prioritizing and thinking about how to manage our week and not adding extra curricular activities in the week and seeing what we could shift over to the weekend rather than having everything in the week when they already are busy with school. Then I went on to talk about a meal planner and having a wall plan on the wall to know what you are cooking. And not only does it ease of what's going to be for dinner that night, but it also helps you prepare with your shopping because then you know what to buy in order to prepare those meals. Now, the last one in this managing schedules is weekly check-ins, which is one of my most important and most emphasized point here. This is so important, and it can be done daily with each child on a one-to-one basis, and just do it. Just, sometimes you pick your children up from school and, we forget to ask them. We're just so busy, like getting them in out of the playground into the car or walking home or just rushing. But take that 5 minutes and talk about how their day was and give each child their time and let the other children hear if they want to be heard, or give that time to them on a one-to-one basis of how was your day at school, what happened, what did you like, how are you going to do better, just asking those questions of, was there anything wrong? There's a way of asking as well. And I think if you start with a negative question, they're automatically going to put their guards up and feel like, no, nothing went wrong, nothing happened. I was all good, mum, nothing went wrong. So I think it's the way you ask questions as well is really important as well, that you don't just ask, what did you enjoy about today? Was there a favorite lesson? What did you learn in history? Whatever it is, but ask specific questions, rather than coming in with that negative question that might make them feel like they need to put their guards up a little bit. This is also an opportunity for you to check in on your child to ensure that they are settling into school and coping well with the change of the school atmosphere, friends, college, teachers, any issues that may be arising, or just underlining issues that they might have that they're just silently letting be. It might be an opportunity here for them to talk about it and let that come to the forefront. So talk about it. You can also, which we try and do as a family, is on Sunday evenings have a family huddle, where this can be done just after dinner, just everyone get together just before they're getting ready for bed. Everyone just get together and go through what's going to be happening in the week. So this is where the week planner that you've purchased or designed or made comes into hand, where you could just be jotting down things in the week planner to say, right, these are the things that are going to be happening this week, these are the activities that we're doing, and discuss and plan things. And you've also got the weekend there, so you could say, right, as soon as that's happened for the week, next weekend we can do X, Y, and Z. So give them something to look forward to. But again, it's that opportunity where everyone is involved in the planning of the week, and everyone can share, oh, I've got this meeting, or I've got that lesson, or I've got this after school club. So it's an involvement for the whole family. So that's managing the schedules there. The next one is homework and study habits. And you must be thinking, they've only been back to school for 3 or 4 days and we're already talking about studying and homework habits. But actually, I think starting early is the key. Set up a homework zone at home. Ensure the children are staying consistent and on top of this. It's easy to say, oh, it's just the first week back, don't worry about that, you don't have to do this, you don't have to do that, just come back and rest. It's so easy to fall into that, and then you'll be in the second week saying the same thing, oh, it's the second week back, don't worry, and before you know it, they're going to fall behind. And so you need to keep on top of things and make it fun and consistent. And it doesn't have to be a mundane task. It's just, you've gone through your bag, these are the lessons that you've had, just jot down any notes, think about any learning that you did in that lesson. Is there something, especially with the secondary school children, is there something that you can go back and say to the teacher, I didn't quite get this? Or is there something that you can research at home and say, I want to elaborate on this because it didn't make sense to me in school, so let's see if I can find out. We are so fortunate about how much you can get online now, resources. The days of looking through the big encyclopedia is gone. We don't have to look up in an encyclopedia or a dictionary for words and facts. There is a bank full of resources available on a lot of these trusted sites, and make sure when your children do go onto these sites that they are trusted sites. Educate them as to how to search for things as well, so that they're not getting inappropriate content and inappropriate material or facts that aren't real. So we have to be careful, because it's so easy to just type in a search engine a question and you'll get a bank full of answers, but they're not always trusted, because it could be AI generated. So it's just a thought, it's not evidence backed. So go to the trusted sites and look at the resources on there. So make sure you are doing that with your children as well. But setting up that homework zone will give them that they know that, okay, this is the time where we need to just go through our learning for the day, and do that. So study times, again, in line with the homework zone. Pick a consistent time each day where they are going through their work for the day, and prep any topics in advance or questions to the teacher, so that they are prepped, and it's not like in the lesson, oh, actually, I didn't understand any of what happened last lesson. You could probably go into that lesson and say to the teacher, that didn't make sense to me. So can you spare 5 minutes in the lesson to just go through something with me so it makes sense? So you're not allowing your child to fall behind, basically. Get ahead of the learning curve rather than falling behind. And this study times and techniques of keeping up with their homework and revision is particularly good for those children that are actually entering year 11 and year 13, so final year of GCSE and A levels, where they are starting now. So it's not about, right, you need to start revising because you're in year 11 and year 13. It's about being on top of it. So you are now, I mean, some of the schools are still covering a lot of the topics and a lot of the subjects, so it's now just about keeping on top of it now, so that when it does come to revision and exams, they have got a technique and a system in place, and they're just picking up from where they left. Short bursts of learning studies. So, create that time window that suits your child. It could be 25 minutes and then have a break. It could be a 40-minute window to organize everything. And this could be jotting down notes, preparing for the next lesson, doing a bit of research about what you have studied on top of it to really consolidate your learning in that area or topic. That 40-minute window is about right. If they're doing about that much every single day, that's a consistent learning attitude. And inshallah, when it comes to exams and everything, they will be ahead of it because they've got themselves in that routine of actually doing a bit of learning every single day. So it's just introducing those habits for homework and studying. And the last point that I wanted to make here was sleep and screen time. I think we as parents might need to instill some of this in our lives. The first one is screen curfew or no mobiles. Now, I try to get the kids to put their mobiles away when they come back from school because actually they don't need it. I've always said to them, you need your mobile for when you communicate with me outside of the house to say you're an XYZ, you've reached school, you've reached college, you're on a break, it's whatever, but it's a form of communication. It's not something that you need to glue yourself to. And I think trying to be really firm with how they manage the usage of phones from an early age is really important, because if you can nip it in the bud now, as soon as they're given a phone, not giving that phone importance or precedence in their life, then you've got a child that can easily put their phone away without feeling anxious of, oh no, I need to respond to a message, oh no, I need to upload something, oh no, there's a lot of children I see that are only about 14, 15, and they are so addicted to their phones, and it's really concerning. So I think as parents, especially for those parents that have got children that have just started high school, it's so easy to want to give them a phone so that they could tell you when they reach school, when they're walking home. And, I have a child that's just started year 7, and I've not given her a phone because she walks home with her older sister who's a couple of years ahead of her, who does have a phone. And so she will just text to say she's at school. Both of them are at school and they're both walking home. And alhamdulillah, hoping that I've instilled really good habits with my older daughter, because she does come home and she just puts her phone on the sideboard and that's it. She's not on her phone. If she's bored at home, she'll pick up a reading book, or I give her chores to do. I will say, can you help prep this? Can you put this away? Can you grab that for me? Or can you do this? And we're busy. And I think it's all about getting children involved and letting them know that their phone shouldn't dictate them and their entertainment. It's so easy to say, just go and play with your phone, go and call your friend, go and have a chat with your friend, which, is not wrong. And, if they're not in the same school and they want to see how their friends are getting on, they might want to have a conversation. Allow that, allow them to have that time with their friends, but to do it daily, it's just forming bad habits. So, maybe you could say you can do a weekly check-in, or every fortnightly, just check in with your friends, see how they're getting on, and it'll soon drift because they'll create their own friends in their own environments, and they probably will just touch base once a month here and there. So yes, really put those phones away, and allow them to focus on being there as a family, bond with the family, talk to the family, and talking about their day without the mobile phone or the screens getting in the way. So also, it's important that no devices are used at least an hour before bed. So research has shown that screen time before bed is actually not very good for the mental well-being, and it can actually have negative implications on health. So try and put those screens away. And again, this is for us. And I have to confess, I had a blip in the summer holidays where there was a lot of communication that was coming through on email, and I needed to keep on top of things. And I was using the phone continuously, and it would be late at night, and I actually burst a vessel in my eye. I had a red eye for at least a week, and it looked really painful, but I couldn't feel it, and I was alarmed by it when I saw it, because anyone that saw my eye would think, "Wow, what have you done?" It's like I'd literally just poked something in there, and it was just red. But it didn't hurt. But I done my study around it, and I'd actually got some medical advice on it, and it was excessive screen time, where basically I've overused the eye, and I gave myself that burst. So it scared me, and I just thought, wow, I need to just put this phone away and give myself moments of the day where I can just jot in and out and get these emails and everything done, rather than doing it all in one go and overusing the eye. So yeah, I'd overstrained my eye. So you don't want that happening to your children. So I learned the hard way through myself that I don't want that to happen to my children, and I don't want them to be it. So it just, not having the phone helps kids and adults just wind down a bit better and go to sleep. Read a book. Again, which I will be coming to. So having a consistent bedtime routine, even on weekends, to keep the body clock going and steady as well. So I know we all look forward to Fridays, where we think, yep, movie time, or just late nights, or it's been a busy week, so I'm going to just treat myself to a bit of TV time, screen time. Try not to overindulge in this or get into a routine of doing that, because your body needs to stay consistent. So try and keep that sleep routine consistent, of going to bed at the same time every day, so that you are maximizing the number of hours your body's getting for sleep. And inshallah, doing this also optimizes your health. So your immune system is at its peak, and you wouldn't be getting run down with anything as well. So have a wind down routine, create one that will work for your family, your child, the individuals. Everyone has a different thing that they like to do just before going to bed. And make that part of the routine at home. So this could be reading, journaling, jotting down things that's happened during the day. It could be even listening to some soft music just before going to bed, tidying up their bedroom, putting clothes away, setting up their room, setting up their bag, anything they like to do just before going to bed that's going to help them ease without feeling anxious that they've not done something. So create that routine at home. Now, listeners, they were my 4 main points of how we can manage being back at school, and things that we can do for ourselves and our children and as a whole family. Top tips that I wanted to share: modeling calmness. Your energy sets the tone for the household. So however you behave is how they're going to behave, especially the younger children. If they see you frustrated, angry, and not getting through things, they're equally going to just have tantrums and kick off. So really try to show ways of how you can ease the pressure, and model calmness. What do you do as your outlet to say, right, mummy's having a bit too much hair right now, and I'm going to go and take 5. I'm going to sit down, have a glass of water, or I'm just going to go for a walk around the garden just to clear my head, and then come back and continue as normal. Showing children that it's okay to get a bit overloaded with things, and then finding a way to how to deal with it is the best role model you can be. Working together as a family, it's all about creating a family team and making everyone feel part, so having a role or a function that everyone is playing and putting forward as well. And it's not just you taking on everything or a older sibling taking on everything. The workload is divided, and we're all doing things to make the house functioning. Stay consistent. So, be it the daily studying routine or how you go to bed or what you do, make it regular. So these things become a habit rather than a schedule. And have a family ritual. So, this could be having a family day. This could be a movie night, or a takeaway Tuesday. I aim for this, where, you don't have to cook, you don't have to worry about anything, and you're going to treat the family to a takeaway that evening, or do something that works for your family as a treat. This could be something that you look forward to on the weekend. Again, something you can plan in your family weekly planner, put it down, jot it down, and say these are the things that we can do as a family. Now, earlier in the show, I did mention to you that I had a bit of a mental breakdown day 3 of the school runs, where I realized that I wasn't prioritizing my own needs. I was just putting the children's needs forward and concerned about what they were doing, that I forgot that actually it's not just them, it's myself as well. So parents, carers, make sure you are prioritizing yourself. Give yourself that time as well. So after the school run, make sure you've come back and had a good breakfast. And exercise, go for a walk, while the weather's still doing us justice and being lovely to us. Go out there and enjoy a walk. You can pair up with some mums and just go for a walk just before you come back, just to clear your heads, have a conversation, have a laugh, let out all those serotonin hormones and have a good laugh, and then come back and then kickstart your day on a much better tone. And so it's really important that you are taking care of yourselves as well. So they're my points, listeners. I hope that you've been able to jot down those notes on how to make the going back to school routine easier for you all at home. And I hope that they have been of valuable, and I hope that there's some new ones there that people didn't know and are appreciating those. So it would be brilliant if we can do that. So listeners, before we go, I know that we've got a few events that are happening, and it's an event that's happening in the coming weekend, which is the Luton Halal Shopping Expo, and I think this would be the first one in Luton. So if you haven't heard of it, the Luton Halal Shopping Expo is happening at the Grand Royale, and that's, I believe, a new venue, and the postcode for the venue is LU20AH, and they will be running a halal shopping expo where you can see a variety of shops. There'll be food, clothes, lots of things out on sale, and that's happening on the 13th to the 14th of September. So jot that note down in your diary, put that down on your wall planner, where you are going to be attending this event 13th to 14th of September at the Grand Royale, and it's the Luton Shopping Expo, Halal Shopping Expo. And I believe it is one of the first that's happening in Luton. So I have high hopes that this will be an amazing event, and obviously something very good for the town to be doing and hosting something like this. So there you go, listeners. They are my hot tips, and that is the event that's happening on the 13th and 14th of September. I hope that everybody has enjoyed those top tips that I have shared. I will try and see if I can get some of these jotted down onto the Facebook page of the show, or just keep an eye out on the Inspire FM Facebook page or Insta page, where some of these hot tips will be mentioned or put out, so that if anyone didn't quite catch them in today's show, you've got the opportunity of catching up on them on the social media platforms for Inspire FM. Now, listeners, I just wanted to say that It is Jummah, and we lost a very young brother in our community earlier on this week. And my condolences go out to the family, and sincere du'as for Adam Khan. May Allah bless his soul. It is Friday, so can we all make dua for him and his family? May Allah make everything easy for them and grant him Jannah, inshallah. Ameen. And please do remember the Inspire FM team and myself in your duas. For anyone that is unwell, may Allah grant them shifa. And for anyone that is studying or sitting exams this year, may Allah make it easy for them. I hope that the show has been of use, and inshallah I will be back live now next week with a show. But in the meantime, have a blessed Friday, and remember us all in your duas. Assalamu alaikum.